Nile River, the longest river in the world, flowing northward through northeastern Africa to drain into the Mediterranean Sea. It has historically been considered the longest and was historically thought to be about 6,650 kilometers, 4,130 miles, long, but in light of new geological evidence, the length is now determined to be about 7,088 kilometers, 4,404 miles. The Nile is an essential and a vital waterway for Egypt and Sudan. The Nile has two major tributaries, the White Nile and the Blue Nile. The White Nile is considered to be the headwaters and primary stream of the Nile itself. The Blue Nile, though shorter, contributes about 80% of the water and silt. The Nile Basin is enormous and includes parts of 11 countries, including Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya, Democratic Republic of the Congo, South Sudan, Sudan, Ethiopia, and Egypt. The river's history dates back to the times of the pharaohs, serving as a source of sustenance and an integral part of their civilization. The river played a crucial role in the development of ancient Egyptian society, enabling irrigation for agriculture, which sustained the population and spurred the growth of one of the most ancient and long-lasting cultures in human history. The famous annual flooding of the Nile provided nutrient-rich silt to the fields, ensuring the fertility of the soil. This predictable flooding cycle allowed the ancient Egyptians to develop a calendar and agricultural techniques around its rhythms. Today, the Nile remains a critical resource for millions of people. The Aswan High Dam, constructed in the 1960s, created Lake Nasser and significantly altered the Nile's ecosystem. It has provided benefits such as improved water management, hydroelectric power, and increased agricultural production, but it has also led to several environmental and ecological issues, such as the reduction of the fertile silt downstream and the alteration of the natural flooding cycle. The Nile continues to be a pivotal axis of life in Egypt and Sudan, and holds geographical and historical significance in its journey from its sources to the Mediterranean Sea.
The River Nile, the world's longest river, flows majestically through northeastern Africa, zigzagging its way through 11 countries before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. Stretching approximately 6,650 kilometers, it has been a lifeline for the civilizations of Egypt and Sudan for over 5,000 years. Its waters are the fountain of fertility in an arid landscape, spawning legends and myths that resonate through time. Along its banks, ancient temples and pyramids stand tall, silent witnesses to the rise and fall of dynasties. The Nile is divided into two major tributaries, the White Nile, originating from Lake Victoria, and the Blue Nile, flowing from Lake Tana in Ethiopia. Their confluence near Khartoum is a spectacle that symbolizes unity and strength. In ancient Egypt, the Nile was not just a river, it was a deity. The god Hapi, often depicted with a blue-green complexion, represented the inundation that brought fertile silt to the fields, ensuring bountiful harvests. The annual flooding was a critical event, celebrated with ceremonies and offerings to appease the gods. Today, the Nile remains pivotal for millions of people dependent on its waters for agriculture, fishing, and drinking water. It is a vital artery for transportation and a source of hydroelectric power, underscoring its modern significance. In the bustling cities of Cairo and Khartoum, the river's presence is both a comfort and a reminder of the delicate balance between man and nature. However, the river faces threats from climate change, pollution, and geopolitical tensions among the countries it traverses. Cooperative management and sustainable practices are essential to preserve the Nile for future generations. Its story is not just one of a natural wonder, but also of an enduring guardian of human history and sustenance. The mysteries of the Nile continue to inspire and challenge humanity, a testament to its timeless influence. In the heart of Africa, stretching over 6,650 kilometers, the Nile River winds its way through 11 countries, each contributing to the lifeblood of the region. The river, revered as the longest in the world, originates from two major tributaries, the White Nile, which flows from Lake Victoria in Uganda, and the Blue Nile, which begins at Lake Tana in Ethiopia. These two rivers converge in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, to form the mighty Nile that continues its journey toward the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile has not only been a source of sustenance, but also a cradle of civilizations. Ancient Egyptians, who settled along its fertile banks, owed much of their prosperity and cultural advancements to this majestic waterway. The annual flooding of the Nile deposited nutrient-rich silt on the farmlands, making it possible to cultivate crops that sustained the population. This natural cycle imbued the Nile with divine status, worshipped as Hapi, the god of the inundation. Modern times continue to see the Nile as an essential resource for millions of people. It provides water for drinking, agriculture, and industry. Cairo, Egypt's sprawling capital, is a testament to the enduring significance of the Nile, with its bustling waterfront and vibrant social life centering around the river. The Aswan High Dam, completed in 1970, stands as a modern marvel of engineering on the Nile. The dam has generated hydroelectric power and controlled flooding, but it has also brought ecological challenges and geopolitical tensions among the Nile Basin countries. As urbanization and climate change pose new threats, the need for international cooperation grows ever more urgent to ensure that the Nile's waters can fulfill the needs of all who depend on it. Whether as a muse for poets or a highway for commerce, the Nile remains an enduring symbol of resilience and unity for the diverse cultures and peoples it touches. It flows as a timeless reminder of nature's unmatched ability to nurture and sustain life, lending its soul to the land that drinks from its depths.
The Nile River, one of the longest and most historically significant rivers in the world, stretches over approximately 6,650 kilometers and travels through multiple countries in northeastern Africa, including Egypt, Sudan, and Uganda. It has been the lifeblood of civilizations for thousands of years, providing water, fertile soil, and a means of transportation. The Nile has two major tributaries, the White Nile, originating from Lake Victoria, and the Blue Nile, stemming from Lake Tana in Ethiopia. Ancient Egyptian civilization thrived along its banks, developing advanced agricultural practices and constructing iconic monuments such as the pyramids and the Sphinx. The river continues to play a crucial role in the region's agriculture, economy, and culture, serving as a vital resource for millions of people, while also being a source of political and environmental challenges in contemporary times.